Today I'm going to show you how to use Gophish, an open source phishing framework. So Gophish is a tool designed for simulating phishing attacks in a safe and controlled environment. It allows cybersecurity professionals, educators and companies to test how users respond to fake emails, just like the ones sent by real attackers. So the goal is not to harm anyone, but to educate people and train them to recognize phishing attempts. With Gophish, we can create realistic email campaigns, build custom login pages that look like real websites, and track if someone clicked the link or entered their password. So everything happens in a test environment, so it's completely safe, and no real data is stolen or exposed. And in this demo, I'll show you how Gophish works step by step, including how to set up a campaign, send fake emails, and analyze the results. So the first thing we have to do is searching Gophish online and then downloading the right version of the software based on our operating system. So in my case, I will download the Gophish version for Linux. And once we have downloaded the software, it's zipped, so we have to unzip it. And then when we have unzipped the software, we can launch it. So you can see that now Gophish is hosted on our machine and we need to enter the credentials. So you will find the username and password in the shell that we just used. So before we can send any emails, we need to set up a sending profile inside Gophish. The sending profile is what tells Gophish how to send emails and what SMTP server to use. So in my case, I used my Gmail account, but Gmail doesn't allow you to connect using your normal password for security reasons. So instead I had to go into my Google account settings and create an app password. So now I will show you how to do this. But first, an app password is a special password that works only for one specific application. So in this case, Gophish. So once I had the app password, I went back to Gophish and created a new sending profile using the settings of my Gmail account. So to create an app password, we need to go into our Gmail account and then go to security. And then once we are inside security, we need to type app password. Okay, now we need to create a new app and we just name it Gophish, for example. And then we need to save somewhere this code, this one-time password. And then we need to paste the one-time password, the password, inside the settings of the sending profile inside Gophish. So after inserting the password, we can send a test email to check if everything is connected. So for example, I will send a test email to myself to my Gmail profile. Okay, now let's see if I actually received the email. So if I go back to my Gmail account, I can see that Gophish has sent me a test email. So everything is connected and I can start sending actually phishing campaigns. So I created this image to show you how this process works. So this diagram shows you how Gophish sends email using an SMTP server, in this case Gmail. First we have Gophish running on our machine, and this is where I create and manage the phishing campaign. I set up the email content and choose the target recipients. But Gophish doesn't send emails by itself. It needs to connect to an SMTP server, which is an email server that takes care of delivering emails. In my case, I'm using Gmail's SMTP server, which is smtp.gmail.com. To connect to Gmail, I need to log in, but I can't use my regular password, so Google requires something called an app password, which is a special password created just for Gophish. So Gophish uses the app password to authenticate with Gmail's SMTP server, and once the login is successful, it can send out the phishing emails. So finally, the SMTP server delivers the email to the victim's inbox, just like any regular email. The victim receives the message, and if they click the link or enter their credentials, Gophish will track that behavior. Now let's move on to the landing page section in Gophish. The landing page is the fake website that victims will see after they click the link in the phishing email. So we have three ways to create landing pages. We can either import a site. In this case, we will try to import the Instagram login page, and we need to simply put the URL of the landing page. And as you can see, we have just imported the website, but in some cases, like this for example, the website will protect the code, so we have kind of imported the website, but it doesn't really work. So you can see that there is a lot of spaghetti code and we don't need that. So the other option is to write plain text directly in the editor of Gophish if you want to keep things simple. So you can see that we can modify the text thanks to the editor of Gophish. But this is quite simple, so I suggest you to use the source option, which is the HTML code. And I have wrote an HTML page for the Instagram login page just for you, so you will find that in the description of this video, don't worry. So I also added a special Gophish tag called .url inside the email. So this tag automatically generates the unique phishing link that takes the user to the landing page. So when someone clicks the link in the email, they're taken to the fake Instagram page, and if they enter their login credentials, Gophish captures the information and logs it as part of the campaign. We can also tell Gophish to redirect the user once they enter the credentials to another website. In this case, we will redirect them to Instagram itself. So we are now inside the part of the email template. So we're going to write our email that will be seen by the victim. So the first thing to do is to write the name of the email template. In this case, Instagram email can be okay. Then we have the option to import an email, but in this case we are going to write it by ourselves. And the envelope sender can be left blank because it's going to be populated by our email name. So just insert the subject and then you can write the HTML code. In this case, it's going to be my HTML code that you will find in the description. So this is how it looks like, the email, and we can then save the email template. Okay, now we need to create the group in which we are going to insert the users that we will be targeting. So just create new group and let's give it a name. And then you can either import users via a CSV or you can insert them manually. So in this case, I'm going to target myself, so I'm going to insert myself manually because it's just one user. And that's it. We have created the group. Now we are ready for the final step, creating the campaign in Gophish. In this section we bring everything together. So we need to choose three main things. The email template, which defines what message the user will receive. The landing page, which is the fake site they will visit. And the user group, which is the list of targets. There is one more important field, the URL. This is the link that will be included in the email and must lead to the landing page we created. The URL has to be publicly accessible, especially if the victim is not in the same local network. In my case, I used ngrok to generate this public URL. So what is ngrok? ngrok is a tool that creates a secure tunnel between your local computer and the internet. Gophish runs on my machine, but that's only visible to me. ngrok takes that local server and exposes it to the outside world using a link like https and something .ngrok.io. Now, anyone with that link can access my landing page, even if they are not in my same network. So let's take a look at this diagram to understand how it works. On the left, we have Gophish running locally on my computer. Then we see ngrok, which works as a reverse proxy. It creates the public link that points to my landing page. When the user clicks the link and visits the page, they see the fake login. If they enter their credentials, the information is captured by Gophish. The data flows from the browser to ngrok to Gophish. And finally, there is an SSL or TLS termination that happens at ngrok. So this means that ngrok handles the HTTPS encryption using its private key, then forwards everything in plain HTTP to Gophish so that we can see in clear the password and the username sent by the victim. So the next step is to download ngrok. So let's just type ngrok on Firefox or Google Chrome, doesn't matter, and let's click the first link. So the first thing to do is to download the software. Then we need to unzip the file just downloaded. Then we need to sign up. So I've already done this, and I will skip this part and move to the next one. Okay, now that we have signed up, we need to take the authentication code. Just follow these steps to get your authentication code. And then let's pass this command. So ngrok config add auth token and then add your own token. Perfect. Now we can start our ngrok server on our machine. And that's it. So it's live, it's online, and you can see that we have an URL. So let's just copy it and paste it inside our campaign settings in Gophish. So everything is ready and we can now finally launch our campaign. Perfect. So now the campaign has been launched and we can see that in our inbox we have an email. And it's the email template that we have created in the previous steps. So if we click the link, we will be redirected to our landing page. Now, don't worry, this is normal, and because ngrok has been used for quite a while for phishing campaigns, so it has a bad reputation, but this is just a test. So don't worry, it's okay, you can click the link. And now we will try to insert the credentials, so the email and password, and we will try to log in. So, as I told you, we will be redirected to Instagram. So if we go back to Gophish, we can see that something happened. So we have a bunch of datas, and we know that this user has clicked the email and inserted some datas. So if we drop the view details arrow, we can see that we have both the username and password. And that's it, guys. So we have the credentials of the user and the phishing campaign has been successful.